Hey, we're live. I'm sitting here staring at like, are we live? We're live. Oh, the live light's on, so I should probably say, yeah, we're live. It's just a small show tonight with myself and Jay on the docket. Say hello to everybody, Jay.
Hi.
And we're going to be going over our this past weekend. We had a little bit of an event. We're going to be talking about some of the new rule stuff, and we're going to be talking about our first taste of Avengers Defender War. But that said, let's talk very quickly about our week in Heroclix, and by quickly, I mean not quickly at all, because we had a Winamap event this week, and Winamaps in our very corner of the world, we kind of treat like super qualifiers because that's kind of what we've been doing. Jay, regale us with your tale of the week.
Oh, I had a great day as far as losing goes. I ended up playing a double dog og team, which was interesting because I haven't done that before. And I made the team on Friday, and the event was yesterday, so I had literally no playtesting time. I don't think I've ever played dog og before, but it was fun. Ish. So we had a 5-round event with a cut to top 8. First round was against our buddy Sharif, who was playing a Gotham City Underworld team with Mr. Freeze from the new set, the super rare Bane at lower points, 25-point Harley Quinn from Joker's World as well, and the gas canister. I guess the idea being to give Bane the gas canister for absolute maximum stats with his trait, and then Mr. Freeze does Mr. Freeze stuff, and then you have some supporting characters. Unfortunately, I don't think he knew what Doc Ock did, so he ended up learning what they did during the game, and he got some attacks off, but I basically managed to get the win, and I think he took one of my Doc Ocks out and maybe another piece. I can't remember. Round 2 was against Devin, who was playing Chase Magneto, who was giving the X-Men keyword to Peggy Carter Prime, as well as Pixie to Taxi. He had the X-Men Gold ATA as well, which is pseudo outsiders. And then he also had the gas canister as well, which is for Magneto because anti-shape change, anti-nick, and all that stuff. So that was one of the more interesting games I've ever had because I won, but then I lost because we realized that I had completely mispositioned and I couldn't have positioned my characters where they were. So we rewinded from wherever we could, and then ended up being that he took the win at the end. But I kind of won that game, so that was okay. Round 3 was against Mike or Patrick first, but one or the other. I think it was against Mike Payne, who was also playing a double Doc Og team that was slightly different to mine. He had Reddit Tilly, which was a better taxi than my Fugitoid because of extra speed from sidestep. So he basically just automatically gets to attack first in that matchup, which he did. Because of my mispositioning meant he killed both my Doc Ocks. And then the game was basically over, short of me taking some points. I'd take something or other that I don't remember. Round 4 was against Patrick Chow, who was playing the recently released Sentry, I guess the only Sentry in Modern. Prize Iron Man with the 3 stop clicks, and Haha Joker at 50 points. This matchup was basically I ended up just taking out the Iron Man and Sentry very quickly, which wasn't helped by the fact that when he had his one opportunity to roll the Sentry modifier and then do stuff, it was the -1s.
Oh.
So yeah, it was kind of just another kick in the teeth after essentially losing by that point. And then most of the game ended up actually being versus Joker because at the point that I was attacking him with 13 attacks because I had the original 6 ATA, but he just had a lot of Super Senses rolls. So most of the game time was just slogging through that Joker dial. So that was a win with full points. And then last round was against the other Mike White, who's been on the show before, who was playing Casey Shazam at full points. Casey Green Lantern at lower, Casey Spectre at lower, and the Bat Knight. And Casey Shazam has 15 speed to start, or 16 if he gets perplex from Casey Green Lantern. So there was no way I was getting first attack. All that I managed to do in that game, unfortunately, was get the 2 lower point Caseys, and I think I took out the Bat Knight in the process as well. But there was no way I was catching up to Shazam ever, just based on the matchup. He took out my Taxi. I could not touch him. And then I was 2 and 3 and did not make the cut. But then I had some fun in some Battle Royale, so that was good.
Awesome. Yeah, myself, I actually showed up for this event. Oh, boy. Ended up taking some work today, actually, instead of doing the work on Saturday. But that said, I played Shredders, specifically Mini Shredder and the Shredder clone. I got my hands on the Shark Shredder, so why not, right? Played that with a Renatilli along with 2 of the 35-point Green Lanterns. Of course, the idea is why roll dice? That's for suckers. Or if I have to roll dice, make sure they're low. Thank you, Shredder clone. So in round 1, I was up against, I believe, a local to Trevor Viser's group, Evan. Evan played Lady Death with a Jean Grey along with Harley's Hammer in order to do 4 damage quakes, which was really interesting. He actually managed to pull it off once towards the end of the game, or towards the middle of the game, when I had killed everything but Lady Death and did 4 damage to my 2 Green Lanterns, which killed them. But by this point, I had killed everything else on his team and barely touched Lady Death, except for maybe 1 damage with a Shredder incidentally. And then he was, what I did was took my lead and kind of ran, forced him, because when you have a lead and you force your team away from your opponent, it forces them to act on you because you're winning. And then when it forces him out of position, and then I was able to get some free damage off on the Lady Death. He did get 1 more quake off on me, but that was okay because when he did, he was on his last click of Lady Death, which meant even if he killed both the Shredders in the state they were in, he would put them back to click 4 or click 4 on the Shark Shredder, and then I would immediately move to Lady Death and finish off the game. It was that quick description of it didn't display how good Evan played the game. It was really, really well played game. But the Green Lantern walls really kind of help out the situation. When you got 2 Green Lanterns popping 1 square barrier, I might as well have wall from the Construct days. Then my second round, I'm trying to remember. Second round was against Mike Payne, who we see on the show on a regular basis, who's unfortunately out with working today. That said, he was playing Doc Ock along with a Chameleon and a few other figures. And this case, Mike tried to stifle my sidestep by switching his Chameleon into a Peggy Carter. Very clever move. So that when the Shredders would get near, they wouldn't be able to sidestep. But what I did instead was I took advantage of the fact that the Chameleon character, the disguise that they turn into, when targeted, has to roll a die. And if they roll a 1, 2, 3, or 4, they switch back to the Chameleon, which means Peggy Carter's no longer there and I can use my powers again. So I started with attack with the Green Lantern. I didn't even care if it hit. I just wanted to trigger the Chameleon's power, try to hit the Chameleon, maybe get 3 damage off, would have been awesome. But ultimately, the idea was Shredders come in for free action damage and then start attacking because the Shredder clone has an unbelievably large 12 attack. And if you include him with the mini Shredder, that's 3 damage with the Empower from him off the top of it. Later dials, you don't get that, but you still have the Blaze Claws Fangs to go back on. And then mid dial, he gets Flurry. So that went my way, which was different from when we played the second time in the top 4. But hey, so spoiler alert. Or sorry, top 8. In the third round, I played against... I don't remember who I played against in the third round. I remember losing in the fourth round. The third round. Okay, so first round was Evan. Second round was Mike Payne. Third round was... I don't remember. I don't even remember the team. Oh, no. I feel bad.
You have to win, theoretically.
Oh boy, hold on a second. Let me pull up the win. The win will save me save me my embarrassment, right? Win dot whiz. You know what's wonderful is when you use the win to track your events. It keeps track of it and makes it very public on the internet, so long as you know where to look. And I'm of course vamping my way through me searching for it. Here it is. Look at that. View results. Let's go. Okay, round 1, round 2. Yep, round 3. Here we go. Jared Duffy. This was the one we liked to call the mirror match because he was also playing Shredder Clone. But he also had a Jakeem Thunder. His team was a 4-figure mystical theme team because he also had Hat and the Black Cat to kind of round it up. And what ended up happening in this case was he brought us to the new Timbetta, the map with open air terrain on the side from Age of Ultron. It had the big Buddha statue in the middle too. And he ended up putting his special objects on the indoor portion of that map, which I capitalized on. Because you know what flyers can't do to indoor blocking terrain? They can't fly over it. So when he went to go pick up, I think it was Pim Particles or the, I believe it was Pim Particles. He went to go pick up the Pim Particles Jakeem Thunder. At this point, I had my Green Lanterns up a little bit. So I started walling in the Jakeem Thunder with overlapping barriers while I took on the Shredder clone with the mini Shredder Renatili and this was the first game I actually saw the Shark Shredder pop up. Shark Shredder came out, started fighting himself, fighting his way through. I think my Shark Shredder was on his second to first clip from Steel Energy by the time the game had ended. But by the time he eventually started moving his Jakeem Thunder out of the indoor terrain, but I was still able to hold him long enough to kind of single out the one character and you got a win on that one. It was a really well played game by Jarrett, and I'm sure the next time we play, he will definitely not take us to an indoor map. That's for sure. Oh man. 4th round was up against Devin, who had beat Jay had mentioned earlier. Was playing a Magneto and a Pixie and a Peggy Carter. The Magneto did a lot of damage. No matter how low the attacks were, it was just like, wow, okay, so you need a 9. All right, well, you're going to hit that 9. Well, I'm dead. All right, great. Good game. And that's, Devin recognized that his team either works or doesn't work. And he either wins quick or loses real fast. So it's kind of how that ends up. So he won quick in our case and walked all over my team. 4th round, 5th round. 5th round. We did 5 rounds. Oh my gosh, 20 people. We did 5 rounds. It was long. Played against Jason. His name is Jason Osorio, local guy. I've played against him a number of times. This time he had a Jakeem Thunder, a Nick Fury, and a Joker. The 30-point Joker, and ended up not realizing how my team worked a couple times and made a couple tactical errors that I was able to capitalize on. And this is an important what we're talking about later. But I ended up squeezing out a win on that one. I think I actually only killed the Nick Fury and the Joker because he left the Joker with my Shredder when Shredder had Flurry Blades. It's like, okay, let's do it. Let's kill ourselves a Joker. And I managed to get the Joker down. So Jakeem was still alive, though a shell of a man, and I squeaked out the win on that one. So we cut to the top 8. And in the first round of the top 8, I played against Mike Payne. So 4-1 after the Swiss. So I played against Mike Payne in the first round of the Swiss. Mike, now knowing how my team works, we kind of looked at each other and said, this is going to start when one of us does something stupid. Otherwise, it's just going to be us staring at each other, right? And I ended up, both times I played against Mike, and he admitted it, I put out a carrot that Mike went for. Carrot being, how you bait a mule or a donkey, not referring to Mike as a mule or a donkey, but rather it's just a phrase that you put out. You put out the carrot, do they go for the carrot, and keep walking for you. So this time I put up a little bit more of a complicated one, and he still went for it, still got the first kill this time. But I was able to once again capitalize and just play the long game, eventually killing out. His last 2 figures were Peggy Carter and Renatili. And Yeah, I got another win on that one. They were like, it's one of those things. We're both playing teams that go forward and do damage, but his does all the damage all at once, and mine does the damage over a little bit of time with some, stop tactics and some protection, and it ends up, I ended up being able to drag the game out a little longer than a Doc Ock needs the game to go. So that worked out for me. But then we get into the 6th round for myself with the top 4. I'm playing against Jason Osorio again, and because he's having played my team once already, he stopped making the tactical errors and started making the right choices. And no amount of work. I had Nick Fury down to second to last or third to last click. I did enough damage to get 10 points off of the Joker, but this time it didn't go down the same way. So Jason Osorio ended up beating me and ended up winning in the finals. Overall, it was a great show put on by the Comic Book Addiction, and I believe that's 1022 Brock Street in Whitby. The location is in Whitby, Ontario. They are also the guys that run our local WKOs. So a big shout out to Jane and the team, Mike especially. Judge called in at the last second for running that event. It was a ton of fun, and we always like getting out to these big events where we get to unload all of our guns and then go back to our regular stores and play the silly stuff. I'm really excited for Nationals coming around the corner, though. My team is locked, and I don't care what Avengers Defenders War brings. I am playing it. Unless it brings something else that might change a small portion of my team. But, yeah, we found out recently Avengers Defenders War has an official release date of May 10th, and we have a 20th, 21st was the weekend of. Give me a second. Let me pull my calendar out so I can know. We like to refer to it as the May 2-4, the May long weekend, Victoria Day long weekend, May 2-4, because if we're Canadian, we refer to our 24 cases of beer as 2-4s, and the weekend of Victoria Day is a great weekend to drink beer. And one year happened to be on the 24th, and beer company uses it as marketing. So yes, the 20th and the 21st is that weekend. So that's when we're going to be having the Canadian Nationals, which puts it 2 weeks after, the week after the release of Avengers Defender War. So if something is just blah, it's gonna be there. Jay, are you holding off, or are you building now with without Avengers Defender War?
I have one thing that's bad in this current meta that I still want to play. I already know the build very well and I'm considering it, but other than that, I guess I'm gonna wait and see, because you never know.
That's pretty fair. That's fair. Like my team, okay, because like I said last week, there's a very 97% chance I'm not going to be able to make it to Worlds this year unless I do really well at the Canadian Nationals and find another person who does well at Canadian Nationals, and take their ride or ride on their backs or whatever it takes to get me there for like the Saturday of the event. It's going to be a tricky one. Work has decided that there's a big deadline on that one, so not much I can do about it. So that said, speaking of things and whatnot, let's talk about a little bit of news, and let's start with our first preview of Avengers Defenders War. It's a bit of a nuclear one. It's a little bit of a Hail America kind of guy. And that is Nuke. Nuke was previewed this week, and here he is. Nuke is Thunderbolts and Soldier keywords. Real name Frank Simpson. I don't think that's going to matter coming in the near future. He's got a trait: red, white, and blue pills. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose one pill type. Red pill this turn. Red pill. This turn, Nuke can use Battle Fury and modifies his attack value by +1. White pill. Heal Nuke 1 click, and he can't attack this turn. Or blue pill. Nuke can use Precision Strike this turn. So what you see is what you get, dial. Blank, mostly standard for movement. It's actually all standard for movement, attack, damage, and defense. 5 range, 70 points. What do you think of Nuke, Jay?
Casual fun times for sure, and the trait is very nice and thematic for him. But other than that, yeah, not a competitive figure at all, sadly.
Yeah. We'll see what the future holds for us. I mean, but maybe the second year Avengers Defenders War is legal